This meeting of the Lammersville Unified Board of Education to order at 7 o'clock. Just a reminder, this meeting is being live streamed and recorded, so please silence or turn off your cell phones. And if you would please rise with me for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Principal Ben Faubert.
Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Lisa Boulay.
Here.
Colin Clements.
Here.
Anita Daniel.
Here.
Stephanie Olson.
Here.
David Pombo.
Here.
Sanita Jithendra.
Absent.
Approval and/or corrections to the agenda.
There are none.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
On a motion by
Give it to you. Goes to Lisa.
On a motion by trustee Clements and seconded by trustee Boulay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4, school presentation. Dr. Nicholas?
We'd like to have Mr. Ben Faubert come up and give us some good and exciting news with pictures about the start of the school year at Mountain House High School.
Board President Pombo, trustees, Superintendent Nicholas, thank you so much for inviting me here tonight. Thor told me I had 3 minutes, so here we go. You ready? All right. This is a picture of the school the day we opened it at the top, 489 students. And this, on the bottom, is a picture of the first day of school rally. On the first day of school this year, we fill the home stands in the stadium from end to end. We are just about to 2,000. If you count the 8th grade Math 1 kids, we are over 2,000 students. We have pretty much a new administrative team this year. Mr. Panu is back with us this year. However, our new associate principal, Brian Shum, and vice principals, Alini White and Karen Perez, who is the district vice principal of student services and alternative education. We're all housed on the site and we're having great fun this year. Our instructional focus is focusing on that instructional core that Assistant Superintendent Sherburne talked about, and we've distilled it down to 4 specific things we want to see in classrooms this year. Clear goals and expectations in the form of a standard and measurable objective, a pitch for every lesson, literacy strategies, and checks for understanding. And administrators are using a walkthrough form that we're collecting data on this year as our own PLC group, administrative PLC group, and we should be able to share some numbers with the superintendent and others in the future. We continue to use our learning mastery-based learning classroom and system that includes making sure that all students are taught or learn rather than just that they are taught. And part of that is our redo retake policy. We've retooled it a little bit to ensure that students are really focusing on learning as opposed to what we like to call grade grubbing, where we've changed a bit of the policy to avoid grade grubbing and start focusing on the language of learning and having students come to success because they want to learn more, not just because they want a few more points. And I'd be happy to explain that to any board member who would like to know. Our philosophy in the master-based learning system is that any student who doesn't receive proficiency the first time is not just invited to participate in systems of intervention, but that our students are required to come to systems of intervention when they don't make it the first time. We continue with our blended learning environment with also online and hybrid options. Those have been available for a long time, not just over the last year and a half. And we continue to refine our processes and procedures in those areas. We're really excited with some of the new policies and procedures that help students either stay on pace or ahead in those online classes. And new expectations for departments to set up their Canvas courses so that we have a similar look in all of our Canvas courses in the face-to-face classes, and that information is easy for students, parents, and teachers to find and communicate. We also continue to have a robust participation in our 8 CTE pathways: dance, business, biomedical, engineering, computer science, culinary, digital arts, and media arts. We have over 1,000 students on our campus participating in these programs in the hopes that they can finish it before they graduate, which is an indicator on our college and career readiness indicator at the state level. So we're really excited about all of those. There are new teachers in our culinary arts pathway, computer science, engineering, and our media arts pathways this year. We continue to have options for students at our school, our alternative education and Epic Academy. We've graduated almost every last one of our students at Mountain House High School since we opened, and we had seniors the first year, and we're proud of that. You'll see a picture up there of the Venture Academy ropes course that our students go to each year at the beginning of the year before they start their Epic Academy experience to build culture and team. We also continue to have our early college program. Our freshman incoming class is something like 62 or 63 kids in the early college pathway. We have 25 students in the senior pathway this year that will graduate with their AA or their IGETC requirements completed. It's just lagging, sorry. We continue to have, I was just saying, a lot of normal is happening this year. We're excited about Powder Puff that's coming tomorrow night, our Powder Puff football game. Homecoming is about to happen in a couple of weeks here, and so students at the high school and the K-8 schools will be building their floats. Football and marching band and leadership and all of the rallies are happening, and we're very proud to say that even today I left campus with multiple sporting events happening all at the same time. Extra and co-curricular clubs have got their start already. Our mock trial team, our theater arts program will be producing Midsummer Night's Dream, a Shakespeare play. It's our first foray into Shakespeare this year. The director tells me that she was highly impressed by the students' auditions this year. She said they've stepped up to the plate, and it should be a very fun play when we get to it. I could mention a whole lot more of the things that we're going to be doing this year, but we're back into Science Olympiad and HOSA and DECA and Key Club and all of those things that make our year as normal as possible. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Can you please explain the grade cropping thing? Sorry.
Yeah. So I'll explain the update in the policy for the redo retake policy. We're trying to help students and parents understand a change in the language of what we're teaching to students, and going from just saying A, B, C, D, F to advanced, proficient, basic, and then not yet demonstrated proficiency. One of the differences that we see between a student who receives a proficient or a B level grade is that that's really actually what we're shooting for. If you think of the elementary schools and the number-based system that they go for, is that proficient means you have mastered the content or skill at a level that we feel like you are proficient in demonstrating those concepts and skills. Advanced proficiency means you are proficient, but you can apply those concepts and skills in multiple different contexts. So what we've done is, instead of just a regular redo retake for a student who receives a B on the first time that they take the test, that the task that they have to do to demonstrate advanced competency may be different than just retaking the test for a few more points. It can be a different project. It can be a conversation with the teacher about how they can apply those concepts now at a more advanced level. Students who receive a C or below will have the right to a redo or a retake, because C or below, they're at basic or below, and we believe that they need an actual reteach. A proficient student doesn't need a reteach. What they need to do is, on their own, be able to demonstrate a higher level of proficiency to get to the advanced level. And departments are communicating with families the different ways in which students can attain from a B when they reach that B level to the advanced level. Some departments are doing it where they're assigning a new assignment. Again, like I said, maybe it's a conversation with the teacher so that the student can talk through why they believe they're advanced now that they've done extra learning. The idea is our success period was designed to intervene with students who have not yet learned the content at a proficient level. And our B-level students is a very large group of students at our school, and they have been filling our success classes with trying to get those few extra points. And it's taking our teachers' focus away from being able to intervene with students who have not yet demonstrated proficient mastery. And so this is going to put the onus on the student to really want to learn more and be able to demonstrate the advanced level in a different way. And the focus goes on to the students who have not yet demonstrated that proficiency. Some departments are doing it in a way where they don't do a redo, retake, and they might not do a new project or anything like that. But at the end of the semester, when they take the semester end final, if they reach the A-level grade on the final, then those previous tests will be changed to an A, because the comprehensive final dictates that, yeah, you had a B before, but now you are advanced competency at the end, and therefore we will change those scores. So it depends on the department. We have left that up to the PLC teams in the departments to determine how they will how students can demonstrate that mastery from the B level or the proficient to the advanced.
Thank you for explaining. It's actually a nice start. So a follow-up question to
Sure.
that, though. If my understanding is correct, if there is a retake, then the retake is graded out of 90%. It's not 100%. So will that,
So the kids who have a C or below,
like earlier, before this new thought was applied, like last few years?
yes,
the
the cap
retake-
was 90, yes.
So will that be the same scenario when they are doing the projects and different set of assignments? Will they be capped at 90%?
That it will depend on the department, but yes, some departments will cap it at 90, yes.
Thank you.
Mhm. And in some departments, even if they have a C or below and they redo it, they're going to cap it. But if they get the A at the end, then they change all those grades to an A. The underlying philosophy at the high school is you don't prevent a student from going from proficient to advanced because that's arbitrary. It's placing an arbitrary limit on whether a student can demonstrate mastery or advanced competency. And we don't believe that there should be a cap on that just because students come to that advanced understanding in a longer time frame.
Got it. Thank you.
Further questions or comments by the board? Thank you, Principal Faubert. Very enlightening presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Where are we? Committee reports. My computer will cooperate. I will. District Advisory Committee, nothing to report. District English Language Advisory Committee, Trustee Clements.
I would defer to Trustee Daniel.
Thank you, Trustee Clements, for giving me this opportunity. The DLAC meeting took place virtually on August 26th at 6:30 p.m. Trustee Clements and I attended the meeting along with the school site administrators, and Irene, Director of Student Services, led the meeting. It started with introductions, followed by celebrations highlighting the significant progress measured by using MAP and summative LPAC scores. There has also been an expansion of the LUSD bilingual para team. The director explained how English learners are identified and reclassification of process and criteria. There was also a review of targeted funds for unduplicated students, and lastly, there was explanation of how funds were utilized to support English learners. So this is from the DLAC committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Education Committee, nothing to report. Facilities Committee, Trustee Clements.
The next Facilities Committee meeting will be on Thursday, September 23rd at 6:30 PM here in the district boardroom. Unless something changes, the plan is for it to be live and in person.
Thank you. Policy Committee, Trustee Clements.
The latest batch of policies has been distributed to the committee members with the goal of being presented to the board for a first reading during our meeting on October 6th.
Thank you. Safety Committee, our next Safety Committee meeting will be September 15th at 3:30 in the Professional Development Center. And Wellness Committee, there's nothing to report. My computer is not cooperating this evening, I apologize. Governing Board reports. Trustee Clements.
I attended the DLAC meeting, committee meeting last Thursday along with Trustee Daniel. In the last governing board meeting, Ms. Edlander spoke during public comment about the situation that her family faced in learning through Lammersville Education Online compared to Lammersville Virtual Learning Academy last year. I really felt her frustration, and my heart goes out to her and her family as well as any other parents in a similar situation. In that meeting, Trustee Daniel commented during her board report that the LEO program was what the district could offer within the budget. During her comments, during Ms. Edlander's comments, she thanked Trustee Daniel for the explanation, but asked if the district could find ways to offer LVLA at a lower cost rather than LEO. I felt, for the purposes of clarity, I wanted to clarify for the community. I wanted to respond to that request and provide a bit of clarification. The situation is not that LVLA is too expensive for the district to offer. Last year, the state of California determined that because of the pandemic, remote learning was necessary and therefore funded online learning programs like LVLA. This school year, however, the state of California determined that in-person learning was in the best interest of students, so the state of California will literally no longer fund programs like LVLA. For those parents that really felt strongly that their children needed to stay home, the state of California provided for their children the ability to learn at home via an independent study program. As we have tried to make clear in previous board meetings, the independent study program flips the primary responsibility of educating the student from the teacher to the designated adult, ideally or probably a parent, but the designated adult at home. I think teaching children is one of the hardest but most important jobs out there. Therefore, I cannot imagine that this will be easy for the parents that choose the LEO program. For clarity, I wanted to explain to the community why trying to value engineer the LVLA program isn't an option. The way that the budget process works in the state of California is that the state pays each district funds for each student as long as that student is in a recognized learning program. For the 2021-2022 school year, that means either in-person instruction or the independent study or LEO program. Even if we could cut, I'm going to oversimplify it and say, even if we could cut all other costs, each LVLA class would need a teacher, which the district would not receive any funds for those students to pay for. One could ask the question about whether the district could absorb one teacher's salary. But if we offered LVLA program, we couldn't offer it to the first 28 students that responded. If we promoted an LVLA program, we would have to offer it as a viable program. Let's assume that 10% of the students of our student body actually took us up on that. That means that, and realize I'm ignoring all other costs besides teacher salary. If 10% of our students are in an LVLA program that we do not get any money for, then our teachers would either across the board need to take a 10% pay cut, which is repugnant, or 10% of our teachers would have to work for free, which is also not going to happen. So it's not that we can't afford to teach LVLA. It is that the state of California literally does not allow that from a budgetary perspective. It is not a matter of value engineering it. It is simply a matter of the state does not recognize it as a viable educational tool this year. The last time I looked, the state of California was 46th in the nation in terms of per student funding on education. The state does not fund education enough to pay our teachers what they are worth in the first place. So attempting to offer a program that the state does not even recognize is simply a non-starter. That's the end of my comments, Mr. President.
Thank you. Trustee Olson.
On Thursday, August 18th, I attended back-to-school nights at Bethany and Wickland Elementary Schools. I was able to peek in on quite a few classes, and both back-to-school nights looked very well attended. I know the Wickland parking lot is smaller than others, but for reference, I had to park a block away just to get there. So I thought that was great to see the turnout and the classrooms decorated for parents to be able to see the atmosphere that their children are experiencing when they go to school each day. On Friday, August 20th, I attended the JV and varsity football away games at Chavez High School. It was great to see the teams out. It's great to see the positive coaching that they're getting and the positive environment that they're surrounded with. On Sunday, August 22nd, I attended a scout troop meeting for Troop 599. I was invited to speak to them to help them earn their citizenship merit badges. Troop 599 comes from our Muslim community, and they have not just a boys troop, but also a girls troop, and very sizable. And I got to see the scouts earn their new ranks, and they all posed very excellent and high-level thinking in their questions. But unfortunately, there were a lot of questions that they wanted to ask that weren't related to citizenship that I could not fully answer, such as, why did Cuesta take down the tire swing? So I tried to help the students figure out where to go to answer those questions, but I love that they're so invested in their own education in their own schools, and they have a lot of pride, and I think that speaks well to our community. On Monday, August 23rd at 10 a.m., I visited Cortez Elementary. I observed several classrooms, recess, and lunch, and I even tried lunch that day, which was chicken and waffles, and it was excellent. Thank you to Principal Yeager for taking the time to fill me in on all the great happenings at Cortez. That evening, I attended the Mountain House High School Athletic Booster Club meeting, and it was great to see the new parents turn out and show up and be interested in volunteering and helping. I really appreciate any volunteer that helps our school in any way, whichever club or activity you help. It means a lot to the students, and it really benefits our community. On Tuesday, August 24th, I visited Bethany Elementary. I observed several classrooms. I saw recess and was able to observe the first part of lunch. Thank you to Principal Wingo for taking the time to showcase your school and all of the excellent things that are happening there. On Wednesday, August 25th, I visited Altamont Elementary. I was able to observe lunch, their peaceful playground recess, and several classes. Thank you to Principal Bogle for taking the time to show me around the school and highlight all the wonderful things happening at Altamont. And she also ordered me a school lunch that I was able to try out and eat in the teacher's lounge with some of the teachers, and that was great to see the dedication that they have to their students and how even when they're eating their lunch, they're thinking of ways and, the future of their classroom. And I tried the vegetarian option that day just to know what, the kids that are vegetarian eat, and that was also delicious. On Thursday, August 26th, I visited Wickland Elementary, and I also observed lunch and some recess in several classrooms, and learned that Principal Manley is a Red Sox fan, and so he has just gone up in my estimation. Go Red Sox. But I wanted to thank Principal Manley for sharing all the great things that are going on at Wickland as well. On Thursday, August 26th, I also attended virtual back-to-school night for Mountain House High School. And it was really great to see how the administration took the time to answer parent questions in such a patient way. I appreciate their dedication and desire to keep everyone in the loop and informed and aware so that they can support their students. And it was really great to see all the interest expressed in the clubs at the high school. On Monday, August 30th, I attended the varsity boys water polo game. The team did really well, and it was great to see how much they've progressed in their short time being a water polo program. They won their game by a lot, and they looked good. And I wanted to conclude my report, just I've received, various concerns from community members about safety at school and policies, or are we following them? And I just wanted to say, this pandemic is difficult. And there are a lot of strains that have been being placed on our district faculty and staff. And it's just that's in a normal year. And everything is enhanced and magnified with the extra precautions that we are taking due to the pandemic. I have observed almost all of the schools. I have 2 left to visit, and I will be visiting Cuesta and the high school. And thus far in my visits, I have seen maximum, as in way greater than 110% effort from our site administrators, food services, custodial staff, maintenance, teachers, and our students. Perfection doesn't exist. Wish it did. That would make our lives easier if we could be perfect. Yet, all of our school leaders, I have observed, are perfectionists, and they place themselves under a very, very big microscope. And I've noticed that each day they strive to make their school better, and if something doesn't go as smoothly as they hoped, they are aware right away, and they make adjustments all the time. And I think it's important that we know that our district is founded on sound policies, centered on keeping our students safe and providing them the best education. And my observations showed me that our school leaders do what they can to enforce the policy. They support the policies and they enforce them. Of course, they can't be everywhere, but when I observed at each school site was that administrators, if a mask was down, which was rare, and usually by just a kid forgetting because they're working so hard on something, they were gently reminded, put your mask up. In the lunchroom, in the cafeteria, students, if they were finished eating, were reminded, if you're finished eating, put your mask back on while you're inside, please. There was hand sanitizer for them to use, and the food services was making excellent, healthy lunches and distributing them in a very timely fashion, so students had plenty of time to eat. And our custodians and noon duty aides worked nonstop, wiping down tables and keeping the environment clean and safe. I'm sure there were times things weren't followed perfectly because nobody is perfect, like I said, but I just really wanted to share with our community that everyone is striving to be the best they can possibly be. Our site administrators, as exhibited in my observations, love our students. They love our teachers, and they work tirelessly to keep things safe. In a time when there are so many moving pieces. And I wanted to point out that many of our site administrators are averaging around 25,000 steps a day, and some of them more than that. So they are moving and shaking and getting around, and they are aware and they care. And our teachers, when I observe the classrooms, what I notice is that our students have been out of school for a long time, and some of our students have never been to school. The second graders, kindergartners, first graders, TK, they have a lot of things to learning how to be independent. And our teachers have been amazing and patient. And in such a short time of school being in session, I am amazed at how the students are on task and focused and learning and working hard. And I want the community to know that we'll always be interested in hearing your concerns, and they're important to us. But I was hoping that what I shared with you tonight would bring some peace of mind, knowing that our students are well cared for and their safety and top-notch education is a huge priority. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Trustee Boulay.
Thank you, Mr. Pombo, President Pombo. On Thursday, August 18th, I went to the back-to-school nights at both Cordis and Lammersville Elementary with President Pombo and Trustee Daniel. It was my first time on the Cordis campus, so I was thrilled to be able to see the new school, to walk around, visit the classrooms, met the principal, the vice principal, and many of the teachers. So I was really excited about that. It's a great campus. It seems very big, very open, and quite spacious. So I'm thinking we're going to have a great year there. At Lammersville, I had been to that school before, but only to the multipurpose room to watch basketball games. So I had a nice tour of the campus, was able to talk to the principal and meet some of the teachers. And again, it was nice to be able to get to see the layout of that campus. Last week, I finished the second Master's in Governance class, which focused on student learning and achievement and policy and judicial review. In these classes, there's really great discussion about the topics, and the other board members and superintendents who are there are so generous with sharing what they do at their own districts in terms of best practices and what things work well and what things don't well. So I think it's a great opportunity that, to be able to attend these classes, and I'm really grateful for it. Over the last couple weeks, I attended 2 of the high school girls tennis team preseason games. Last week, they had an amazing match that really challenged them in terms of every aspect of their talent. They did not win the match. It was 3-6, but 4 of the 9 matches went into tiebreaker third sets. And so they were so close. But I think it was a really good experience for our tennis players in terms of their sportsmanship and their growth in terms of their skill. Last Thursday, I attended the high school virtual back to school night, and I was impressed with the creativity of the format. Again, it was virtual, and all of the teachers had their individual teacher videos. So especially for parents that have more than one student at the high school, is a great way to be able to see and to visit all the teachers in one night and even have that material and those videos after the fact if we didn't want to watch them all in one night. So great job, Mr. Faubert. Thank you. This past Friday, I did stop at the COVID vaccination clinic that was at the Professional Development Center. I went around 4 o'clock, which was after the high school let out, because I wanted to hopefully see that we were getting some of our students there. And I did go, according to the staff, I went at the busiest time. There were about 20 people, a half a dozen or so kids. Most of the people there were getting vaccines. There may have been a parent or 2 that were there just to bring their kid. But I want to thank the district staff for getting this set up, and for Sutter Health for being in Mountain House, and for the County Health Department for all the support and guidance they give us during this pandemic. I think that every vaccination we're able to give is a small step towards ending this pandemic. So thank you for arranging that. On Monday, I went with Trustee Olson to the boys' high school water polo match, and she did mention a little bit about that. One of the things that I was really impressed with is that the number of families that were there to support their students, and also the students' classmates. There was a nice crowd cheering on our boys' volleyball team, and we have some strong swimmers, so I think it's going to be a great year. Finally, I want to thank Mr. Faubert again for hiring Ms. Scott, our speech and debate coach. I'm hearing great things about her. She does have debate experience. I worked with her a little bit, but I also understand that she's working diligently with the kids and getting them ready for the season, and I think they're going to have a great year. So thank you. I'm really excited about her. That's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Daniel.
Thank you, President Pombo. So I attended the back-to-school night at Cuesta, Hanson, Cardis, and Lammersville. And I have to say that each school had its own flavor and uniqueness. And it was nice to see all the parents in school, the students, and the teachers all excited. And so far, we have been having a great school academic days, so we are doing great. So that was good. On August 25th, let me backtrack. On August 21st, I attended the formal ribbon cutting ceremony for the town hall and the library, and it was really nice to be there, even though it has already been opened, but it was nice formal meeting. And actually there were the people who constructed, who designed the town hall talk about it. It's a state of art. So it was nice to be there and, visit and tour the town hall and get to see. I particularly like the balcony that's there in the town hall next to the cafeteria. So it's next to the break room. So it's really nice. So thank you for arranging that and, showing us the tour inside. On August 25th, I actually visited Lammersville School and for a school site visit, and I thank Principal Durant for being there with me and taking me through all the programs out there, the classrooms, and particularly the Leo program. I have to thank all the teachers, the 13 teachers who are working on the Leo program. I personally witnessed how hard they're working. They're just multitasking. They are teaching, they are taking conferences, they are quizzing the students. There's so much of individual attention that's been given to students too. So I have to say that they're just playing so many different roles just within that 8-hour period. And they're also taking care of the students as to being watchful of what they are viewing while they are online. And that specifically to me was felt extremely special and caring. So I thank all the teachers from the Leo program, especially for going above and beyond. It's a pilot program, and thank you so much for doing all the help that you're doing. Thank you to all the Lammersville teachers too, and the cafeteria. When I went there, it smelled great. So I'm definitely going to go there for lunch one day. So thank you, Principal Duran, for that. So while I was there, of course, as Trustee Clement mentioned about the parent who showed up last meeting, definitely my heart went out to her too. As a parent and a community member, it was very tough to hear the challenges that her kids were going through. And I did follow up as a parent and community member with that parent, and I did get to know that things are getting better. She was assisted by Principal Duran and Ms. Paris, and of course there are more suggestions that are coming up, but each day gets better there. So I just want to say that this was something that Principal Duran shared too. Each day is getting better. So we are going to be great at the Leo program. Then August 27th and 28th, I attended the governance program, which was a training. It was a very enjoyable training because I got to meet other superintendents and board members from other school districts, and just hearing their experience and getting to know about how they deal with a certain scenario was very fruitful. And I'm sure I'll be learning more. August 26th, I attended the DLAC meeting with Trustee Clemens. And today I attended the Mountain House High School Girls Varsity Water Polo game. It was fun to watch. There was a lot of attendance, as Trustee Bully mentioned, and it was nice to see the cheer from their friends. And the water polo team is growing, and they're learning. So it was really, really fun to watch and be present there. Lastly, I would like to talk to all the Mountain House High School Mustang alumni from 2020 and 2021. This is going to be the year when you will all be going to college. Some of you may have spent the first year at home because of the pandemic, and the alumni from 2021, you'll be entering college. So all the very best to you from our LUSD board and the school district office. Go and conquer the world. Okay, thank you. That ends my report.
Thank you. First off, I would like to say how happy I am that our new board members are taking education seriously, in as much as they are attending various opportunities to educate themselves on how the board works and those sorts of things. I appreciate that. As some of my fellow board members mentioned, I attended the Cuesta, Hanson, Cordis, and Lammersville back-to-school nights. I always enjoy visiting classrooms and seeing teachers and decorated classrooms and talking with teachers, and the excitement that they have for a new school year is one of the things that I really enjoy about being a board member. And on behalf of the board, I would like to wish Associate Superintendent Thor Harrison a very happy birthday. And it's clear that he's dedicated to this district, as he is here spending his birthday evening with us rather than off doing something that he might enjoy more. Thank you and happy birthday, sir.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Moving on to item 7, receiving of public comments. The board shall give members of the public an opportunity to address the board either before or during the board's consideration of each agenda item. At a time so designated on the agenda, members of the public also may bring the board matters that are not listed on the agenda of a regular meeting. The board may refer such a matter to the superintendent or designee or take it under advisement, but shall not take action at that time. The board may place the matter on the agenda of a subsequent meeting for discussion or action. Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. I have no blue cards. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to make a public comment? Seeing none, we will move on to item 8, consent items for consideration. Governing Board meeting minutes. Contracts under $50,000. Dr. James Byland, contract for independent education evaluation for a student per parent request, $5,000. Savas, contract for subscription to ILIT-L, curriculum for IS and Leo English language development in grades 4 through 12 for the 2021-2022 school year, $5,799.85. DataWorks Education Research, contract for curriculum for Leo program in designated English language development in grades TK through 3 for the 2021-22 school year, $1,500. Ratification of new hires, ratification of resignations, updated fundraisers for the 2021-2022 school year, ratification of final budget revisions, and declaration of obsolete materials, transitional kindergarten curriculum. Is there anything on this list that any board member would like to remove from the consent items or discuss further at this time?
Move to approve consent items for consideration.
Second.
On a motion by Trustee Olson, and I believe seconded by Trustee Boulay.
Daniel.
Daniel. Sorry about that. These masks make everybody sound the same to me. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion consent items carry. Trustee Clements.
On behalf of the board, I'd like to welcome the new hires for the 2021-22 school year, and I apologize in advance for any mispronunciations that I make. Raharo Ambuja, instructional aide, Ramya Balaji, noon duty supervisor, Jessica Cantalini, self-contained classroom teacher, Sazwati Das, noon duty supervisor, Cristel De La Cruz, instructional aide, Jacqueline Deek, school psychologist, Nitya Dixena, noon duty supervisor, Libya Duarte, bilingual instructional aide, Hamza Vardini Kota, noon duty supervisor. Reka Kudanza Parendran, noon duty supervisor. Jody Larson, CTE culinary arts teacher. Vidya Macharaju, special education teacher. Wendy Martinez, bilingual instructional aide. Sasmita Padi, noon duty supervisor. Rixzilla Pasco, noon duty supervisor / food service worker. Linju Paul, food service worker. Gayatri Raj, noon duty supervisor. Chantel Shank, instructional aide, noon duty supervisor. Minju Soman Kalathil, self-contained classroom teacher. Sheila Sotudi Nia, self-contained classroom teacher. Austin Spivey, noon duty supervisor. Karina Sweetland Gill, self-contained classroom teacher. And Caitlin Yerby, self-contained classroom teacher. Welcome.
And I think Trustee Clements is to be commended for his ability to read all those names.
That was a long but exciting list.
District administrative reports. Dr. Nicholas.
I just have a few update items here. First of all, one of the trustees earlier talked about the Wickland parking lot and its lack of size. So I'm not sure if in the time that the new board members that you're in the loop that we started the project of all the background work to expand the parking lot at Wickland. And we've taken it so far as the board has approved, I want to say $31,000 or $32,000 for the pre-engineering analysis to be done for the parking lot. I have put in my notes to check with our architect about where that all that is in terms of when a project to be scheduled. I would predict that because of construction projects are disruptive, that it would probably be done next summer. And I think it would take longer than spring break or winter break to get in and do it. It would be on the western portion of the current parking lot. And we had presented to the board, and I want to say 3 or 4 months ago, tried to make it as like the Altamont parking lot as possible without screwing up the field that that is to the west of the campus. So there is a parking lot project to expand in the works to be paid for by Measure L, but we've got to do all the preliminary background stuff before it gets exciting and they start ripping up dirt and stuff. Second of all, Trustee Boulay mentioned the vaccination clinic. I believe the total number was approximately 50 individuals were vaccinated. The partnership between our district and Sutter Health has been a stellar. And again, Irene Busatil, our Director of Student Services, the coordination she does with the school nurses, everybody should be commended. And we'll see how it goes. If we want to do another one, that is always a possibility. I also wanted to say that we had a parent at the last board meeting who came with some concerns about some new program glitches. Having confirmed with Assistant Superintendent Sherburne that the issues about student access and drop data have all been resolved and that the program is working well. I also can say that the administrator, Karen Perez, working with the Leo teachers, are going through the curriculum and making sure that it meets our base standards for information as well. I put that down twice. I guess when you're in 50s, you repeat yourself. So, and then finally, I just wanted to, I know what I want to say. A couple of things is we have put the brakes on having volunteers on campus, and we're going to continue to do so, but we are going to slowly creak open the door for vaccinated individuals in particular areas where just helping the system run a little more smoothly, where we could use a little additional help will help. But again, we're going to creak it open slowly with vaccinated individuals who can help out our school sites. And we've just begun that conversation, so I can't give you a detailed analysis of what that might look like. But the time has come to maybe expand a little bit of access to help with some bottlenecks. And then finally, we have been talking about our substitute pay for a number of years, done a number of analyses. But I think somebody said today that it's like Mad Max out there trying to get access to substitute teachers. So I can tell the board at the next board meeting, we will be bringing forward a recommendation for an aggressive, at least 1 year's worth of sub-pay increase, because short of buying off people's mortgages and paying for kids' colleges, school districts are getting very aggressive about that. For us, two things. We want anybody who can't be at work to have a quality sub to be in the classroom. Equally as important, our PD program needs subs because we do a lot of professional development with our teams of teachers in multiple schools, and part of our culture, our professional learning community, is based on the amount of professional development. So Mr. Miller has been tasked with reaching out to abroad and everywhere else, and he's already hit a number of different organizations and in all of our outreach, and he's pooling every possibility, including reaching out to college-educated individuals who might be interested just working for us to protect our PD program as well. So we think with an increased competitive pay increase, and I can tell you our neighboring districts are already running on this. We are doing very well with Livermore. After the next Tracy board meeting, we won't be doing very well next to them. So we have to keep our eye on in the Tri-Valley and here. So we'll be bringing forward a recommendation. And Mr. President, that's my presentation.
Thank you. Moving on to item B, District Maintenance and Operations Report. Director LeGrand.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me. Keenan, our insurance company, is in the district yesterday doing their annual property and liability inspection. We were at every single school site and the district office. At the school sites, we walked the multis, the libraries, custodial rooms, electrical rooms, about a half dozen classrooms, and all the playgrounds. So she was able to do the whole district in one day, which is great. There were no extreme hazards, what they characterize as extreme hazards identified. So that's good news. She made comments how clean and well maintained our schools looked. And I should have a report in about 2 weeks, and I'll be able to share it with Thor and the board once I get it. On the last Wednesday, I had a meeting with virtual meeting with Thor and Sean about the locks at the high school. We're losing a lot of the card readers, and we're having trouble getting ports from at this point. The short-term fixes, we're switching out cords and handing out keys, but we're working on a long-term fix, so we don't have that yet. I have good news. The baseball nets are finally up. Trustee Clements, you'll be happy to hear that. Thank you. The saga ends.
How long did that take?
I was sitting here thinking how long it took, and I don't want to think about how long it took. It took
I believe Cy Young was still pitching when we started the project.
maybe, perhaps. Anyways, I'm glad they look great, and I thank God it's over. I'm just happy they're up and they look good. Our solar projects continue. We still have our weekly meetings, Thor and myself with the company. We have meetings on the 19th and 26th. Our next meeting is tomorrow. On Thursday, upcoming items next Thursday, I have a meeting with our control system people. We're having issues with our building management system, the Johnson system. It controls all the HVAC for the buildings at majority of problems at the high school. We have problems at other campuses too. We need to get it restored to, I call it like 100%. It's not user-friendly for us to look, the way it's labeled in the system doesn't match what the units are, so it's not end user-friendly for us to work on. So we have to come up with a solution to get it back where it's better for us to access it. And then we have to have the ability for our HVAC company to access it remotely from outside the district. So we're working on meeting with them. I already have a proposal from our current HVAC company, and this is the company that actually installed the systems at Hanson and Cordis in the high school. So I'm meeting with both to try and get some prices, see what we could do. I'll be at the safety committee on the 15th, and I'll be at the facilities committee on the 23rd. Staffing update. We had to release our district courier receiving clerk during probation period. That happened. So we're looking to fill that position again. We still have even position at Bethany to fill and one at the high school to fill. And that's all I have. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions or comments by the board? I'd just like to thank you and your staff for all the good work you're doing for us, and
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. And I'm ahead of Lammersville, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy.
moving to item 10, action items. Consider approval of 2021-2022 inter and intra-district transfer requests. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the 2021-2022 inter and inter-district transfer requests.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Boulay and seconded by trustee Daniel. All in favor?
Aye.
We are now, have to go to item B. Consider approval to adjourn from regular session to open public hearing on collective bargaining proposals. Staff report?
Yes, the items B, C, and D are associated with what's called the Sunshine Proposal. It's the beginning of a negotiation cycle. Both entities, the district, and in this case, the Lammersville Teacher Association, put the articles from the contract that they'd like to discuss, and we bring it to the board, and you say yes, and then it opens the negotiation season. So we recommend approval of all of this.
Move to adjourn from regular session to open public hearing on collective bargaining proposals. 1, Lammersville Teachers Association, LTA, initial proposal to LUSD. 2, Lammersville Unified School District, LUSD, initial proposal to LTA.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Clements and seconded by trustee Olson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are now in public hearing.
It does feel like that.
Item C, consider approval to close public hearing and return to regular session.
Move to close the public hearing and return to regular session.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Olson and seconded by trustee Boulay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are now returned to regular session. Item D, consider approval of sunshining initial collective bargaining proposals. A motion?
Move to approve the Sunshining initial collective bargaining proposals. 1, Lammersville's Teacher Association, initial proposal to LUSD, and 2, Lammersville Unified School District's initial proposal to LTA.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Boulay and seconded by trustee Daniel. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item E, consider approval of revised 2021-2022 local control accountability plan. Staff report?
Yes, these are the amendments that were inspired by a singular lawsuit in a county office of education in Southern California that inspired direction throughout the state to make revisions to the LCAP, which was already approved. Our staff dropped all they were doing at the beginning of the school year. Let me rephrase that. On top of everything they were doing at the beginning of the school year, they were asked to make these amendments. A lot of it was rearranging the deck chairs. So I want to compliment Associate Superintendent Harrison, Irene Bustill, John Saylor, Ted Miller, and Heather Sherburne, and the whole team, because this was well-intended, ill-conceived in the timing, and we strongly recommend approval, and we won't want to talk about this again till it's a couple months down the road.
Move to approve the revised 21-22 local control accountability plan.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Olson and seconded by trustee Boulay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I do have a comment, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
Every single LCAP version that we've had since I've been on the board has been, the state has moved the goalposts about every year. They've made some significant changes. And every year I say, man, it would be nice if they just kept the same format, and they never do. So this time I'm going to say it's terrible. They should change the format And they'll go against me and they'll leave it alone, right?
Well, clearly the timing was that they knew that district staff had nothing better to do than rewrite the LCAP, so kudos for that. Moving on to item F, consider approval of new certification job description, career technical education media arts teacher. Staff report?
Yes, this is for a CTE position, but we are making changes to broaden the scope and scale of people who will qualify to apply for this to ensure that we can get viable candidates into our program.
Move to approve new certificated job description.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Clements and seconded by trustee Olson, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item G, consider approval of new classified unrepresented job description, restorative practices specialist. Staff report?
Yes, our district spends a lot of time looking at the social emotional needs of our students. We have a strong counseling program. We have lots of resources we throw, but one of the things that came up over time was we need a kind of a low-level conflict resolution person who will work at all of our school sites to help with the low-level stuff as the social emotional needs have gotten more complicated in our district. So this is the position that we've come up with for an individual to help support just low-level conflict resolution and to, again, another thing, a tool in our box to support the needs of our students.
Thank you.
Move to approve new classified unrepresented job description, restorative practices specialist.
Second.
Ooh, that was a tie.
On a motion by trustee Clements and seconded by trustee Daniel, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item H, consider approval to adjourn from regular session to open public hearing on the sufficiency of textbooks or instructional materials. Staff report?
Yes, items H, I, and J are a perfunctory process to formally acknowledge that we have all the stuff that our kids need. It's tied to the Williams Act.
Move to adjourn from regular session to open public hearing on the sufficiency of textbooks or instructional materials.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Clements and seconded by trustee Olson, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are now adjourned to public hearing. Moving on to item I, consider approval to close public hearing and return to regular session.
Move to close the public hearing and return to regular session.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Olson and seconded by trustee Clements, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are now returned to regular session. Item J, consider approval of Governing Board Resolution 212201 regarding the sufficiency of textbooks or instructional materials.
Move to approve Governing Board Resolution number 21-22-01 regarding the sufficiency of textbooks or instructional materials.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Clements and seconded by trustee Daniel, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Roll call, please.
David Pombo,
Aye.
Colin Clements,
Aye.
Lisa Boulay,
Aye.
Benita Daniel,
Aye.
Stephanie Olson.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to item 11, calendar. Monday, September 6th is the Labor Day holiday and district facilities will be closed. Wednesday, September 15th is the next regular board meeting at 7 p.m. here in the district boardroom. Wednesday, September 15th is the next safety committee at 3:30 in the Professional Development Center. And Thursday, September 23rd is the next facilities committee meeting here in the boardroom at 6:30. In just a moment, we will adjourn to closed session where we will discuss Public Employee Discipline Dismissal Release Complaint, Government Code 54957. Conference with Labor Negotiators, Government Code Section 54957.6. Conference with Real Property Negotiators, Government Code 54956.8. And conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9. And I will entertain a motion.
Move to adjourn. Second.
On a motion by trustee Olson and seconded by trustee Clements, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are now adjourned. Thank you all for your attendance this evening.